would like to leave it to one question per person. And so I don't, yes, please.
I had a question. You talk about transparency, but part of the problem has been, what exactly the use is. And right now, we've heard families, we've heard HIV/AIDS, we've heard homeless, we've heard vulnerability. What is it? What is your plan? Who is going to live in this building? Because we've heard that the units are too small, they won't be offered to families. So what exactly is your plan? Is there a plan? And who's going to be welcome in this facility?
Yeah, first of all, when you talk about people living with AIDS, of course, we will house people living with AIDS. If you're talking about people with disabilities, of course, we will house people living with disabilities. If you're talking about formerly homeless people who would be housed there, yes, we will. So I'm not sure why that's confusing. This is based on need for shelter.
So
the most basic.
Shelter.
Do not interrupt.
Okay, well,
We are not going to have a free-for-all.
Okay, that's
We are not going to have a free-for-all. This is the second time you've interrupted, and it's not going to happen again.
Okay,
Or
then
you'll
answer
be
his question.
asked
I'm
to
sorry,
leave.
continue.
Okay, then that's the last interruption.
Okay.
Okay. So, to be clear, I mean, you've had your field day with the hate speech, okay? You have been inciting. This is our press conference and our forum.
Are you accusing me of
Okay,
hate speech?
I am saying to the assembled people here, okay, this is our platform. It is our press conference. We are here to answer questions. We're not here to get into a free-for-all. Okay? So to answer your question, the purpose of this project is to provide housing to low-income people, regardless of who those people are. Okay? And so does that address your question? I'm not sure if that's what you
Well, I think the issue in the community is AIDS Health Foundation, healthy housing, and the initial rollout was this was going to be a development for people suffering with AIDS who need a place to live.
That's not true. Okay, you can go back.
Well, I'm just saying
Let me say this, okay.
Impression.
So this is impression, rumor, et cetera, okay. We will be happy to supply to anyone all the written statements that have been made from day one about what this project is and is not, okay? And we've made it clear from day one that this is not a project exclusively for people living with HIV. If there were a need for 680 people living with HIV in Fort Lauderdale, we'd be happy to meet that need because they, again, are members of this community. But it has never been the case that we've said it was exclusively for that population, and we, again, will be happy to supply you with the information.
But you mentioned the hate speech.
I've answered your question.
Yeah, but your hate speech, you
mentioned
that you brought up hate speech.
We're not going to have
and those people, what are we talking about then? If you keep changing,
right now. If you insist on interrupting, we'll end it
well,
right
you want to be transparent. You don't want to take questions
I've
from the
answered your
media?
question, and we're going to move on.
Okay, go ahead,
If you continue to interrupt, then we're going to shut this down.
I just want to answer your question. I just want to answer your question as well.
Sure.
This question came up multiple times when people were asking about who those people are at Commissioner Sorenson's meeting. And I have repeatedly said that it is illegal to ask whether or not someone is living with HIV in order for them to rent property, and we would not do that. People who are living with HIV, people with disabilities, anyone who wants to apply and meets the criteria will be housed. But this is not a project for people living with HIV, and no one will ask whether or not someone living with HIV, whether or not someone is living with HIV, in order for someone to be able to live at this residence. So I hope that addresses
So
the
the
question.
AIDS Health Foundation does not know who in the community suffering from AIDS or HIV needs
I said we're going to
housing?
shut this down if you keep interrupting.
You've said that.
We're going to
You've
shut
said
this
that.
down.
You don't seem to want to answer questions.
I'll give you to a count of 5. If you keep interrupting, then
we're not children here, sir.
Okay, no, this is
how you run
this
things?
is our press conference. Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry.
1 second.
Yeah.
So we're going to actually move on. Thank you for your question.
Sure.
As you shared, we're going to do one question per person. There's a number of questions. Are there any other questions?
Sure. The woman in the blue pants.
Oh, yes, thank you. So I love the idea of regentrifying neighborhoods, especially buildings that are, you know, vacant. We have a lot of those in Fort Lauderdale, and it appears you've done a lot of work, spent a tremendous amount of money in LA to actually, in fact, regentrify and fight any new development. So I'm trying to understand here in Fort Lauderdale, why is the approach different, especially when we've got a $1.4 billion infrastructure problem, a crime problem, a traffic? What's different? Because we can point out a whole bunch of buildings that are fit for use, that will actually fit families by code, because I agree we want to help everybody and not eliminate.
I got your question.
Great.
Okay, first of all, let's be clear that in Los Angeles, we are not against development. Okay, but I'm not going to get into a debate with you. Let me answer your question. Okay, we have been against granting exemptions to luxury development in working class areas, and we will continue to fight that. Okay. As far as adaptive reuse, we're 100% in favor of that, and any suggestions about additional projects that we can do here in Fort Lauderdale or Broward County in general, using existing buildings that can be readapted, we will certainly be happy to consider. But you know, I see cranes everywhere. I see there's going to be a 49-story. There's going to be a 49-story building, the tallest one in Broward, okay, going up nearby here. There's just recently a big hotel just north of Broward. Okay. If the drawbridge goes up as soon as it involves poor people, that does not speak well for this community. This is supposed to be, I'm told, when I watch the election returns, that this is the most liberal community in America. Okay? So if by that liberalism we mean that, you know, you're liberal unless it's in my backyard, which it isn't, by the way, let's be clear about where we're developing this. This is in the downtown area. Okay, this is not in Rio Vista, okay, and it is not governed by the zoning that is in these other areas. There's a special zoning for this area, okay, that we are meeting. And this project will have less impact on residents than it would be in any other area because there's so few people who reside in this immediate area. So, I'll take the next question.
Yes, sir, the blue shirt.
Yeah, hi, thank you. My name is Phil Kagi, and I'm born and raised in Fort Lauderdale. I am a Christian, thank you. And I sort of set up, and I want to object a little bit by being accused of calling those people. I don't like that, FYI. I guess me mad. Anyway, but my question to you is, you live in LA, and you're putting a community into Fort Lauderdale, which you said this is the downtown core. Well, that's not really. Downtown core is on the other side of the tunnel. And so,
What is the name of this area?
It's the near downtown.
What's the
It's
rack?
part of it, it's down, it's the RIC's.
that's
It is
because
in
the
the
rack,
It is in
the rack was, when it was zoned back in the day, they put this in the rack. But this is not the downtown core because it sits across Federal Highway from Rio Vista. It's on Tarpon River
So
residential
what is your
area.
question?
My question is that you own this land here, and you're going to put this project in there, and I don't know how much experience we have in doing 680 units. I understand it's the biggest in the country for putting this amount of people in this small space. As a resident, we are concerned, and we have the right to be concerned.
So what is your question?
My concern is,
What is
my
your
question is, you're planning on doing this, and you know you're going to get fight from us for this. If there is another project that we could put in another place that has more acreage, where you could have a building for men, a building for women, a building for families, where they
Can you
don't.
get to your question?
Can you do that? Would you be willing? How about this? Would you be willing to take that project and put it someplace else, maybe in a land swap
Further
that
from
makes
Rio
more
Vista
sense?
is what you're saying.
No. I'm talking about
Further,
closer to.
further from the wealthy communities.
No, I'm saying
So
closer
should we
to
put it west of the
services.
95 as been suggested in the next door? I mean, when you talk about saying, where do we come up with those people? Has it not been frequently commented that we should put this west of the 95?
Have you been to, another question, have you been to
Yeah, I'm
Camillus
sorry. Let me
House,
just answer your
Camillus
question.
House in Miami?
Let me answer
That's
your question.
perfectly
Let me
safe.
answer your question, please. We own this land, we're following the code, it's a great location, and we intend to develop it.
I understand.
And we are as capable of waging a fight as anyone, because people living with AIDS have faced more discrimination and more hate than any other group. And so we are well experienced in these type of battles. Very recently in the state of Florida, the state tried to take away our contract that we've had for many years. And we fought them, and the administrative law judge very recently ruled in our favor. So if your question, alternatively, we finished, is are we willing to sit down with the community and discuss their concerns and see if we can accommodate any of the concerns? Absolutely, as we have from day one. If your question is whether we're going to abandon the project, the answer is no.
Let's talk about
We'll take two
Right
more
here.
questions.
This gentleman, and then the last question right here.
Thank you.
It might be more appropriate for Mr. King or whoever has more knowledge about it, but there was an article done in the Sun Sentinel back in October by Austin Erblat. I think Mr. Kahane was interviewed in the article. And I was kind of confused on what I've heard about it and what I read in the paper based on the interview with Mr. Kahane, but the sentence was, the project comprises two new structures, a 15-story residential tower and a new parking structure, as well as two existing buildings currently owned and operated by AHF, which will provide support services to the residents. Is that accurate?
So I believe what I said was the campus, and from the very beginning, we've been talking about the campus environment that we are going to create. The healthy housing building is completely separate from this campus. There are, of course, as I said to you a week ago Monday, and the rest of the people that were there when we were talking about those people, there will be people within Broward County who use the services on this campus. They currently use them, they're currently able to use them, and they will continue to be able to use them. There will be people that may need other services, and we will refer them to appropriate agencies that provide those services. I hope that answers your question.
Last question right here.
I think the whole project itself is wonderful, but I feel as if we're being portrayed as anti-anyone who has AIDS. And I can tell you, I am as liberal as they come, and I'm incredibly offended by that. What I'm bothered and worried about is the mass scale of this. I mean, we can barely get an ambulance into our neighborhood. The bus routes are lacking. So I think when someone was saying, like, have you looked at other locations, they're thinking about maybe making one here for the homeless that are affected here, one in another part, maybe on the north side of Broward. No one is attacking anyone who is disabled, who has HIV, and I feel that's how we're being
Well, I
portrayed.
appreciate that, but I think you have to take a little bit of responsibility for some of what has been said among people
I'm not taking
before.
responsibility for what anybody
Okay,
else
well,
is saying.
well-
I'm telling you how I feel and how my friends feel.
Okay,
But
well,
you're
that's,
insinuating
thank
that we
you.
all feel the same
Oh,
way,
thank
which
you.
is not right.
Okay, well, thank you, I'm glad for that
So
clarification.
again, it's just the mass
Okay,
scale I think
I
I'm concerned about.
appreciate what you're saying, but I have to say, first of all, it doesn't strike me that in this immediate area that there's very much activity. I mean, there's practically no activity in this very immediate area. It's very low density. You have these little buildings that are individual law offices. You have practically no residents. So I can't really think of an area that is, lower in density in Fort Lauderdale that I've seen. I'm not an expert. But beyond that is, if you're so worried about that, if the community's so worried about that, why are there cranes everywhere? why are these enormous luxury buildings
Well, they're on that
going up?
side.
Well, they're that side, this side, they're
Downtown
on Broward, they're by the river, I see them everywhere,
We're
okay?
conflating two different.
Okay, well, in any case, the
items
point
here.
about it is, again, we give an open invitation. We will go anywhere, we will meet with anybody, we will discuss people's concerns, and if we can accommodate them, we're happy to do so. If there are suggestions about other projects that we can do in Broward, but let me be clear, okay? My organization, it's a very large organization, but nevertheless, we're making a commitment of $71 million to this project. And it would be nice if there were more people who acknowledged that generosity. And by the way, also to be clear, we're not carpetbaggers. We've been here, next year will be our 20th year in South Florida. Okay? We not only have this campus, we operate 2 out-of-the-closet thrift stores. We run the Broward Wellness, which is the STD program for all of Broward County. We have 4 healthcare centers. We employ hundreds of people. And I think we have demonstrated that we are a great neighbor and a great contributor to the community. I would invite people, after we conclude now, we have a prototype of the space that we built on in the adjoining building. It'll give you an idea of how comfortably somebody can live in 63 square feet. So
It's a work in progress. We're building it to check.
yeah. So Margie Northard is the lead architect on the project, and so I invite you to come take a look at it. I want to thank you all very much for your attendance, and I want to thank those people in the audience who have concerned about this project for behaving so politely. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, everyone. First, I would like to say, if there's anyone who would like to see the prototype, you're more than welcome to come. We'll be taking small groups at a time. I also wanted to acknowledge the urban leader of Broward County, Courtney Biscardi, for being here. She's the Senior Vice President of Operations and Strategy. And so we're grateful for our partners. Thank you so much. And again, thank you for being here. Anyone that would like to do a quick tour, you can stay in here, and we'll take people small groups at a time. Okay, show of hands who'd like to do the tour. Okay, you can just gather here in the front, and I think you can probably take like 5 minutes. Yes.